So you've heard about this little drug called Trenbolone Acetate, and you've decided to get it. So you go down to your local guy, and you get you a bottle of this stuff, and you decide it's time to join the dark side. Well, before you take bodybuilding's form of crack, you ought to educate yourself. Today, we're going to talk about the dark side of Tren. This is your Saturday Quick Hitter. Tren is a nasty, nasty serpent, and it may look pretty, but it is going to bite you. One of the things that really concerns me about this modern day epidemic that we have of Tren users is you are seeing them get younger and younger and younger, and that bothers me. So I think it's time that we get something out there that really talks about what's going on with Tren. I gotta tell you something, it creates all kinds of problems and issues. Now, one guy may not have as much problem with it as another guy, but that's based on your physiological disposition, your genetics. That's all it's based on. You are literally playing Russian roulette when you're taking Tren. Steroids in general, but especially Tren. Now, let's talk a little bit about the background of Tren. Tren is a veterinary drug. I'm guessing you probably know that by now. But it started, or it was invented back in the 1960s, and its purpose was to prevent muscle wasting in cattle. What was going on is the price of feed was going up, and these cattlemen couldn't afford to feed their cows, and so they were getting skinnier and skinnier. So when Tren was given to them, they were able to have cows that were able to still grow and build massive amounts of muscle on them without the same amount of food that they usually used. So less food, more cow. Right? And so that's basically what Tren was all about. It's for muscle wasting. And it works the same way with us. You and I don't have to eat as much food to get more muscle. That's basically how it works in your body. Now, that's not the scientific thing, but I'm trying to give you the street thing so you kind of get it, okay? So Tren is a really nasty drug. And that's the background of it. I have no idea who in the 60s decided to take it. Some either incredibly brave bodybuilder or some really stupid bodybuilder decided to do it. But it has really gained popularity in the last probably 5 to 10 years in amongst the regular population. Now, guys that are competing have been using it for a long time, and it's really been concerning because it leads to all kinds of issues and problems. I can tell you from my standpoint, irretractable hiccups were horrible for me. I would get to the point where I would pass out because I would hiccup constantly, and it would just be hiccup after hiccup, and it wasn't just one, but it was a string of them that would close my throat off and cut off my air supply. Yeah, it's nasty stuff. You say that's because you were using too much. No, I know a guy that was using pretty much a minimal dosage that had the same type of issues. So Tren and the problems you are going to experience is really based on your physiological makeup and your genetics as well. So it doesn't mean that everybody's going to have these issues, but again, you're playing Russian roulette with your health. Let me give you the top 10 dangerous side effects of Tren. And number 1 is cardiovascular complications, okay? Now, you know if you've ever been on Tren, man, it gets really hard to breathe. It gets hard to do your cardio, and it's because it really suppresses your cardio ability, and it increases your cholesterol levels and increases your risk of heart disease, heart attack, but it suppresses you. Guys, when you are injecting Tren, a lot of times you hear guys talk about Tren cough. And Tren cough is some really, really nasty stuff. Nobody truly knows why it happens, but most doctors believe that it is some sort of reaction with the Tren and the lungs. The lungs just don't like it, and so they spasm when you put Tren in. Let me give you just a quick hack. If you are one of these guys that's really taking a lot of Tren, I'm going to give you a hack that's going to help you. Now, I'm not telling you to take Tren, but I do know what that Tren cough is like, and I know I'm not going to stop everybody from taking it. But if you go down to your local pharmacy and get Nasacort, that is a nasal spray, an allergy nasal spray, what you'll find is if you take 2 pumps in each nostril before you take your shot, right before it will either completely stop it or it will lessen the amount of coughing that you do. Now, if you take your shot and right after you feel like it's coming on, take 2 more hits in each nostril, and almost every time it just knocks it out. So Tren negatively affects your cardiovascular system. It makes it really difficult for you as a bodybuilder to do any sort of cardiovascular work. Now, again, I understand there are drugs to mitigate that. Well, not everybody is able to get those drugs, and your average 14-year-old kid that's out here making videos on YouTube is not able to get that drug either and has no idea what it is, and so he's out there and he's struggling to breathe. You know what happens if you're a Tren user. At night, you get night sweats, you get insomnia, you find it harder to breathe. You go through periods in the day where you get heart palpitations and you feel like you have an irregular heartbeat, things like that. That's common on Tren. And all of that is because that drug really suppresses your cardiovascular system. The other thing is it has incredible androgenic effects. Tren is 3 times more strong than testosterone. Now, all steroids are derivative of testosterone, and Tren is no different. But here's the thing. Tren, given that it's that strong, it really doesn't have a ceiling. Little coaching moment here. Test, when you use it, you can titrate it up, but it only lasts for about 8 to 10 weeks where you really get good results from it. Then, in order to get more results from it, you have to keep raising your dosage. Tren doesn't seem to have a ceiling to it. Test, if you keep raising your dosage, you're just creating more negative side effects. Tren, you can use a smaller amount and still continue to gain. The problem is like I said, it's like a beautiful snake. It looks good in the moment, but it will bite you in the end, and you will wish you hadn't taken it. I'm going to be super open, super honest. I have an enlarged liver. I have an enlarged kidneys, and I have cysts in my kidneys, and I do contribute that to steroid use, but especially Tren. I was a large Tren user. So I'm just telling you that there are negative cardio effects, and the androgenic effects are incredibly harsh on you. So it creates acne and oily skin, and it accelerates hair loss. Ta-da, there you go. And look, those of us that are predisposed to that. So there are a lot of different side effects, and while those may not seem so bad, I assure you they really are. Because it also can create infertility, erectile dysfunction, and of course, testicular shrinking. And now again, everybody's going to write me and say, oh, well, we have drugs to mitigate that. Listen, you're taking something to mitigate side effects from something else. So what are you going to take to mitigate those side effects? You see, so you're in a never-ending cycle of taking drugs to mitigate side effects from other drugs. And all of this is not healthy for your body. Now, again, I'm the poster child for this. I'm not living a life of regret. I'm just telling you from a coach's standpoint, from an IFBB Pro standpoint, what Tren truly is. Okay? It's not the glamorous thing that you see. Guys really struggle with their health when they're on Tren. Now, again, it suppresses your natural testosterone production. Your body is not able to have a hormonal balance when you're on Tren. You have, like I said, testicular atrophy, and you can really have a lot of potential fertility issues. Now, I know somewhere in the comments, somebody's going to tell me, I was on Tren and I had a kid. Okay, great. But guess what? That 14-year-old, that 12-year-old that I saw make a video, that 16-year-old kid who's never had a family, never done anything in his life, now he's taken a drug that could kill him long before his time, and it's going to make him infertile. He'll never pass on his legacy. The other thing, number 4, is liver toxicity. I told you I have a swollen liver, and it is directly from Tren. It's enlarged. And so I am currently going to the doctor to find out what to do about it. But Tren puts a huge strain on your liver and potentially causes liver damage and impairs its ability to function. One of the things that it does is Tren will keep your liver from being able to excrete bile, and it'll actually back up into your liver, and it creates damage in the liver. And so it swells, and there's all kinds of issues that it deals with. The other thing is it raises your bad cholesterol, lowers your good cholesterol. And so when it does that, we start to have problems with a fatty liver, and then we start having problems with a thickening of the walls of the ventricles in our heart. So that is really, really important. So liver toxicity is really, really deadly on Tren. This is why most guys will take very short durations of Tren. But I'm noticing a swing as I've talked to people that guys are using Tren longer and longer and as their main drug. A lot of guys only use it towards the show to really come into that show because Tren promotes fat loss and it really builds a lot of muscle going into a show. So liver toxicity. Number 5, insomnia. Dude, if you've ever been on Tren, you know you cannot sleep and you get night sweats that are so bad, you just feel like you are swimming in a lake. When you wake up in the morning, those sheets are almost yellow because you have sweated and it smells like ammonia. I mean, it's just nasty, nasty sweat. So if you want to ruin your love life, there you go. Take a bunch of Tren. Mood swings, number 6. Guys, mood swings and aggression are a huge thing on Tren. My wife and I had a fight over eggs one time. I was cooking eggs and I didn't cook them the way I normally cook them. She said, hey, I don't like my eggs that way. And I blew up. I mean, just blew up. I was so mad about the eggs. We fought for 7 days over stupid eggs. Look, if you're predisposed to anger and aggression, you are going to have a problem on this drug. Look, there's a reason why marriages and relationships don't last with bodybuilders, and a lot of that is because Tren users cannot control their anger and aggression. It's just the way it is. You can go outside, your wife can tell you the sky is beautiful, it's so blue, and you're going to swear up and down and argue and fight that the sky is purple. And you don't care because you truly believe that it's purple, and you better not tell me otherwise. Sorry, I had somebody tell me, comment yesterday, said you shouldn't yell on YouTube, so I just violated that again. But I do it in good humor, okay? So mood swings, aggression. Guys, if you are predisposed to mental issues, bipolarism, anything like that, this is going to take that and it's going to make it much worse. Now, it's also going to increase your sex drive. Man, your sex drive with that, with testosterone and the other drugs you're going to be using, and most of you guys will be using an anti-estrogen to suppress that so that your sex drive keeps going, then you know what's going to happen. You're going to be a horn dog. We should practice self-discipline, but most guys don't. And most guys can't help themselves because when you're in bodybuilding, you see beautiful people all the time. And then what you have at home isn't enough because this has your testosterone levels jacked so high that you can't do anything but think about sex pretty much all the time. Now, again, here we go with the comments. Man, that's the greatest drug ever. Here's the double side of it. It lasts for a while, and then it kicks you in the teeth because all of a sudden one day you're going to find out your sex drive isn't working so good, and neither is your equipment. And so you will have all kinds of issues. Now, I'm not going to go into getting this drug and that drug to counterbalance sex drive and the different aspects of your hormonal issues because honestly, I just don't want to do that because I'm not trying to encourage anybody to go take Tren. So the other thing, number 7, is increased prostate issues. Guys, right now, today, I was at the urologist because I have a swollen prostate. So let's let's go over this. Let's rehearse all of this for all of you in the back. Okay, here we go. Jeff, because he was a steroid user, because he used a ton of Tren, now has a enlarged liver. He has swollen kidneys. I have cysts in my kidneys. And I also have a swollen prostate. Guys, I am going to the doctor to try to mitigate these things. Understand, you do not get out of this sport unscathed. You just don't. You will pay the price. Now, if you are short-sighted like I was, and so many other guys are, you will be short-sighted and you will take the here and now and not worry about it. You'll have the same mentality that I had. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you die. Okay. If that's what you want and you don't really worry about it, then have at it. But here's the thing. When you get to be 30, when you get to be 40, you're going to feel just like you did back then, and you're going to be going, dude, that was really stupid of me. At least you should. You see, the Bible says when I was a child, I thought like a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. You have got to come to a point where you grow up and grow out of this stuff. Sadly, I didn't do it until 2019. So I'm putting this video out so that you understand joining the dark side, joining the Tren side is not going to help you. All these kids out there taking Tren like it's water, taking Tren like it's the greatest thing ever. Unbelievable side effects are coming your way. The next thing, not only prostate issues, but number 8, negative impact on your lipid profile. Just like I said, your HDL, your good cholesterol is going to go down and your bad cholesterol is going to go up. I have high cholesterol. Why? Because of the drugs, the amount of foods I ate. Guys, it's not a pretty picture. So I'm not trying to get you to feel sorry for me. What I'm trying to do is warn you, stay out of this lifestyle. Serve God now while you're young. And the Bible says before the days come where you say, man, I have no pleasure in all that stuff. And you will, I assure you. So let's go over it again. Number 1, we have cardiovascular issues. Number 2, androgenic effects. Then we will have suppression of our natural testosterone. We'll have liver toxicity, insomnia and sleep disturbances. Number 6, we'll have mood swings, depression, aggression, anger. We'll have all those issues. Then we'll have prostate issues. Number 8, we'll have negative impact on our cholesterol levels, which means that when you start having that, your arteries start clogging up. Not only is your cholesterol going to be high, not only are your arteries going to clog up, but Tren especially grows your heart. Heart hypertrophy is a really serious thing. Guys, your heart is a muscle and it's going to grow. And when it grows, it's not going to beat effectively. It's not going to evacuate and clear out the blood effectively. And so what will happen is you are at greater risk for heart disease, heart attack, and strokes because you're taking Tren. Now you say, oh, all steroids do that. Yes, they do. But Tren is more effective when it's paired with other steroids. And so people that use it are not just using Tren, they're using a lot in a stack. And so when you're stacking it, guys, now you're really pouring on the fire on your health. Again, playing Russian roulette. Number 9 is kidney stress. Your kidneys are what filter out all of the waste out of your body along with your liver, right? And so your kidneys are potentially being damaged because of electrolyte imbalances that Tren causes, as well as other steroids, but Tren does. Now, Tren also leads to water retention. Water retention is a function of the kidneys. So the kidneys have to work harder to continually pump that water off. And again, that leads to kidney problems. Tren is also known to lead to kidney stones. I know because I had them. You don't want to pass a kidney stone. It sucks. I've had a good friend of mine who died recently of kidney failure because of taking steroids. I know many guys that have had kidney transplants because of steroids. Now, the media, the bodybuilding media, they always deny that it was the steroids. Oh, it's this or it's that. Well, guess what? When you are taking a full stack of steroids, a full stack, and you are going into a show, and then you start taking all of your diuretics on top of that, and a lot of guys start messing with their salts and things like that. Your electrolytes balance is critical in your body, and we see people die just from that. We've seen a ton of people recently who are being coached by big name coaches who are in the hospital, in ICU rooms, even on life support. If you don't believe me, go look at the Washington Post article. Just Google Washington Post dying to compete. You'll find out all about it. Number 10 is viralization of women. When women take it, it starts to produce hair, masculine characteristics, deepening of the voice, and a muscularization that makes them start to look like men. Now, I got to be honest with you. I got no interest in kissing a man. I got no interest in that. I don't want my wife having to shave. I know of a female competitor. She does not compete anymore. But she used to be, even by my wife's admission, she used to be a beautiful girl. And she got on all these steroids, got on Tren, and man, I want to tell you, she looks like a dude today. And it's a terrible thing because she can't even keep a relationship herself. Tren is hardest on relationships, and I'm going to leave you with this. One cycle that I did, and I'm going to tell you this just so you can hear just how crazy this is. When I was getting ready for a show, I did 30 days straight of Tren at 100 milligrams a day. It's called the 30-day Tren cycle, and that's on top of all of your other steroids. My heart felt like it was about to beat out of my chest. I was having blood pressure issues, but you know what? Bodybuilders, we push through, right? We do what we have to do. We pay the price so that we can be winners. Nobody wins on Tren.